All right, we'll go ahead and jump in. I appreciate you being here today and give me a little bit of time to talk about some HR stuff and give you an update on some of the things we've been working on and we'll continue to work on. And then benefits, we have open enrollment coming up beginning of September. With our HR, we've been working over the last year to really improve our systems, process, communication, make all our information more accessible to employees, to give you a little more control of your information. We moved to Paycor in January to give you that access to better access to compensation information. Your W-2s this year will be sort of on demand, and you'll for the 2022 year, you'll be able to access those if you need them for a loan. You'll be able to just print an email straight from Paycor to your lender. You'll be able to control a lot of that. Getting our documentation, all that online as well for you to be able to access and then give managers tools as we move forward. And so we've been working hard. Our big goal, like I said, improve the employee life cycle in the experience from recruiting all the way to, if God moves you to a different place, that termination cycle and offboarding as well, and everything in between. So that's an important part for us. We really believe we have the best employees, and we want to make this the best place to work. We're actually beginning to partner with Best Christian Workplace Institute to learn how we can improve our employee environment and culture, and we're starting to dig into that in different areas this month, actually. So excited about that and what we're headed to and what we've been doing. We partnered with HR Ministry Solutions, a HR consulting firm that focuses on ministries and nonprofits, and they've been very helpful in helping us update and be compliant in a lot of what we're doing. So a few things we are working on, and you're going to begin to see specifically in the next couple of weeks. We'll be online on the intranet. There will be an HR page, and on there we'll have access to important forms, key links, handbooks and information, all right there on a unique. Right now, if you go to the intranet, you click on ministry forms, and there's everything that you can imagine on one page. We're going to move the HR stuff to its own place that will have things for employees as well as managers, tools, and we'll do some manager training in the coming weeks around those as well. So we're excited about that. I think that'll really help you find the information you need and ensure that sometimes it's an email, hey, I want to change what I'm putting into my retirement account or my HSA account, or I have a question about this. I'd like to make this change or whatever. So those forms that can be initiated from that page will be there, and you can ensure that it's getting through rather than waiting on an email. But hopefully you've experienced good response and quick response from our HR team. And I'm one that you can reach out to. You can also probably, for the person who's actually going to take care of the problem, is Alexis Examon, and you can email her. She's in the directory, but it's axamon@tbc.org. And we're in the C building, and we're committed to be there to give you real-time access to any HR problems or questions that you have and get back with you as soon as possible on solving those problems. It's important to us that we serve you as the employee. Paycor tasks. So sometimes you get emails from Paycor. Every other week you get one that's your pay stub information. If you get off-cycle emails, they're not junk emails from Paycor. They're probably an official notification from us in HR. And when we email you through Paycor, it allows us to, for example, we've got a new all-employee handbook. We've worked hard on that for the last several months. Clarify our processes, make sure that we're all compliant. We've updated some things that I think are more employee-friendly. Some of our paid holiday. We put a week of paternity leave in there, which I think is very important step in our HR policies. We've updated a lot of that, try to get clarity. Like any organizations, there are things that were written, but they weren't necessarily how we behaved anymore or weren't important to us. We want to make sure if we say we're doing it, we're doing it. And so we updated a lot of our policies and changes. And so we've got all that documented. You should have Tuesday night gotten an email from Paycor asking you to review and sign. And if you can get that done soon, that would be great. And what happens is, and so those of you that need for educational compliance from accreditation, if there's things that you need a digital record of delivery and signage, we can actually help you with that through Paycor. It actually becomes part of their employee file that they recorded, that they saw and signed that. So if you work with Alexis, we can actually send a lot of that those forms for you as a signable PDF, fillable PDF, and then it actually just digitally attaches to their employee file. So those are things that Paycor allow us to help and handle and officially be part of the employee file from the beginning. And you can see it, the employees can see it. And then the things that need to be private and confidential, we can mark as private or confidential. So those are some things we've been really working on to improve what we're doing in HR. As far as our benefits plan, if you're a full-time employee, we really work hard to have a rich benefit package. We will start with one of them is our retirement plan. In a profit center, you have a 401k, probably heard of those. For nonprofits, we have 403b. It's the same thing. It's a mutual fund that you have access to, and you can contribute up to 50% of your income, capping at $20,000 is the rule, the law. I believe that is what the law is. And then as an employer, we will match 50%. We do a 50% match up to 5% of your income. So 50 cents on every dollar you invest, we're going to match up to 5% of your income. So we encourage our employees to go ahead and sign up for the 5% contribution, which maximizes your employer contribution. So that 5% is actually 7.5%. You get 2.5% free money going into that contribution plan. If you are a young employee, however you define young employee, get involved in it quickly, and it begins to really pay dividends over time. If you are getting closer and closer to retirement, you're probably feeling a little pain of the current stock market. We collectively, a year ago, we had about $12 million in our mutual fund account. That has a current value of about $9.5 million, which is a painful thing to swallow. But that's the market, and we are trusting it'll rebound. It's still higher than it was 2 years ago. It's just not as high as it was a year ago. So be invested in that. We work hard to try and help you with that. Again, that 50% match up to 5% of your base salary. We also provide all full-time employees a life insurance plan that's 2 times your annual salary. So if anything happened to you, we want to make sure your family, we want to do our part in taking care of your family. So we provide at no cost to you life insurance plan that's 2 times your annual salary as a full-time employee. And then you can purchase additional life insurance as part of our plan. You can buy that voluntarily. If you want to add life insurance, you can do that during open enrollment here in a couple of weeks. We also provide long-term disability for our full-time employees. If something happens and you end up on disability, we provide a long-term disability plan that gets you 60% of your salary at time of the incident that caused the disability. That takes you until, I believe, 65, or when you come off of disability. So, or come off, you're no longer disabled. So that's all provided. Those are provided for you as a full-time employee by the ministry as part of our total compensation package. You're not seeing those dollars necessarily in your paycheck, but they are definitely there. We're spending that for you and investing in you and your family in that way. Some of our optional plans, we have dental. One of the complaints we get is our dental plan is not great. So we've communicated that. We've learned that it's probably pretty standard, but it has $1,000 max the contribution. So you can, and if you've had dental work, that $1,000 does not go nearly as far today as it did 10 years ago. We are offering a second plan this year. It's got a $1,500 max, but $1,000 of that can be used toward braces. So that's new. We haven't had that as an option before. So 1,000 of that 1,500 can be used for orthodontia, I think is the correct term. So that'll be an option for us. You'll see that when we go. We have a vision plan, multiple Aflac plans, which are those supplement plans. They pay you if you get injured. You've seen all the commercials. We'll have we have those available as well. We are going to do. We'll have reps from each of those companies on site either September 8th or September 8th and 9th. We're working on the details right now so that you can get questions answered around the particular plans. The big ones are the Aflac plans to me. We'll have representatives from Principal, which is our retirement account, who manages our mutual funds through the Principal, whatever they're called, Principal Investment Company. I don't know. I made that up. I know it's Principal. That's all I know. But they'll be here and they'll answer questions about your mutual fund accounts and how you can get involved in that. And the other resources they provide. I found out Monday in meeting with them, they actually provide a will writing service free for our employees. They have a form you go through, you can write your will, and you just got to get it notarized. And that's part of that service they provide. So that was news to me on Monday, and we've asked them to really give us a full picture with flyers around all the services that they provide our employees because of our participation in their mutual fund plans. So really our big goal in this open enrollment season is to make sure we're communicating our benefits well, celebrating that, and then really pressing deeper engagement. About 75% of our full-time employees invest in our retirement account. We'd love to get that over 90%. But of course, you got to make those choices yourself. The biggest plan that we have is our medical insurance that the majority of our full-time people participate in. We have 3 plans. We'll continue those same 3 plans this year. We have a PPO, which is your traditional, have a copay. You pay a flat rate whenever you go to the doctor. Depending on the type of doctor or hospital, it's a standard copay. That's our most expensive plan because it has the least amount of exposure for out-of-pocket costs. We also have what are called high deductible plans. We have one that has a $3,000 max deductible and a $5,000 max deductible. The 2 plans, what that means is you pay the first $3,000 of your medical bills, and then everything else is covered. With that, we have access. You can put money away pre-tax into a health savings account that you can spend on that. It does, again, have a little bit more. It's cheaper, but you also have to have that money saved away. So that first year sometimes is painful, but if you'll be disciplined in building up that money in your health savings account, then over time it becomes a lot less painful. I remember the first year we did it when our kids were little, it was hard. But then as we didn't meet our deductible and our health savings account continued to grow, it became a lot less painful and it was cheaper. So it was the way for us to go with our family probably for the last 15 years or so. So explore those. We'll have Florida Blue reps on site as well to answer questions about the plan, what's best for your family, help you make those decisions, or if you're in them, to sort of know how that works. We did a little research this past year. In the free market, if you go on the marketplace, if you go as an individual, just to Florida Blue or wherever, they tier plans nationally as bronze, silver, gold, or platinum. And the benefits are better the higher you go, but so is the cost. We have our 3 plans are all 3 gold level plans. And we're offering them at silver or bronze prices to our employees, is what we really discovered in the marketplace. We're going to do some survey this year. We are exploring, should we have a bronze level plan that's cheaper for our employees, but it has much more exposure should you end up in the hospital. But what's the best? What our employees want? I think at this stage of life, I'm trying to mitigate my risk for exposure should I end up in the hospital. But I think some of our younger employees would really appreciate a low cost plan that it helps them out when they go to the doctor for a cold, because they don't anticipate being in a hospital. We don't have that type of plan that's a cheaper plan that has a low copay but big risk for major medical. So we don't know we want to offer it, but this year just want to give you guys a heads up. this year we will be exploring, should we offer a bronze or silver level plan that is maybe more affordable for some of our employees that would prefer, they have a greater appetite for risk on that. So we're not going to spring anything on anybody. We're going to validate that that's actually something we would desire as an employee group before we do that. But trying to just give you information ahead of time and let you process. So when you see those surveys, it's important that we get good feedback so we can actually meet the need and the desire of the employees. If you are, the other side of this is we are self-funded. So when you get a medical bill and the insurance pays 80% of it because you've met your personal deductible, we are paying the rest of it. Florida Blue isn't, some conglomerate somewhere in Washington isn't. We are self-funded. So our employees, we share each other's medical costs. So when we contribute, the ministry contributes X amount per employee into a fund every month. And then when you are paying your per paycheck cost, that goes into that pot as well. And then we pay each other's medical bills. And those bills run about $1.5 to $2 million a year in medical bills. So we are paying that. A couple of things we've asked is how can we be good stewards of that? How are we doing? The good thing is over 12 years, last year, we went up $5 per paycheck, which was like depending on the plan, overall was less than 5% increase over 12 years. The market on general is going up 8 to 10% a year is what the free market cost is doing. This year, we probably are going to have another $5 per paycheck increase. The cost of doing business is getting higher. You see it at the gas pump, at the grocery store. The hospitals feel that same pain point. And so we have to make sure we have money in place to cover the anticipated bills based on the last 3 years worth of claims. So we're anticipating a $5 per paycheck. That may or may not happen. We'll know better in the next couple of weeks, but want to give you that heads up. We asked, what are some things that we can do? Where are we as a group not living up to norms? As a whole, we're being very good stewards of the resource. A couple of things that they did. One, our Teladoc usage is low. So using that's a lot cheaper than going to see the doctor. There's zero copay if you're on a PPO to go to Teladoc. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're on the PPO plan, you can just call them and you don't pay anything. If you're on an HSA plan, it's $20 to do a Teladoc visit, as opposed to the 100 and something to go to the doctor. So do that. Using our Teladoc is an underused resource, which may save us money. It may not, because sometimes you call a Teladoc and then you end up going to the doctor anyway. So I get that, but that is something they pointed out. The other thing we are a little out of kilter sometimes on is our primary physician versus urgent care versus ER. We tend to go to the doctor or the ER and not use Teladoc or urgent care centers. And urgent care is a much cheaper for you and for the insurance plan, which is us, to go to over the ER, if it makes sense for you to do that. This summer, and I'll resend the flyer. This summer, we sent a flyer out of how do you know, should I go to the urgent center or ER? Some of that is the goal of that education is because it could really help us save money and keep our rates low. And then also it saves you time and you money personally because the copay for urgent care is a lot cheaper than the ER. So that's another thing that we could do. And then the third, and probably our biggest opportunity for savings is in generic versus name brand prescription drugs. We have, not by a lot, but we do have a disproportionate use of name brand drugs over generic. Some of that is because people have legitimate medical issues. They can't use generic. We totally understand that. If that is not the case, we encourage you, and you're on particularly a high cost, even if it's your copay is low, a high cost prescription drug, to evaluate that, have a conversation with your doctor. Could I go with generic with that? So if those are just some feedback we got about how we can keep our costs down, recognizing that we are we are self-funded, which means we're paying each other's bills. So our rates are totally dependent upon how we, as a group of employees, which with our dependents, we've got about 350 people that are on our insurance plan. And so how the 350 of us, which is us and our family members, do on managing our healthcare costs, help us determine what type of rates we can provide. Our plans start on October 1st. If you're a new employee, you sort of the way our policies work for clarity, after 30 days, you're eligible to enroll in benefits, and then they start the first of the month after your 30 days. So getting into September, you can enroll. Everything starts on October 1st. And that's one of the reasons why our rollover is on October 1st for those that are in existing plans. The next year's plan starts and the rates start October 1. Open enrollment, which is the time of year where you can make changes willy-nilly to your enrollment, and then you're sort of locked in, except for if there are life events that create opportunity for you to change your policy. If you have a kid, you can add a kid. And if you get married and your spouse, you can put your spouse on the plan. If you are 26 or 25 and still on your parents' plan, and then you turn 26, you have till the end of the month of your birthday, then you're kicked off your parents' plan. That's just sort of the rule. So then that's a reason for you to be able to jump onto our plan. All those different things. We did find out that if you're 26 and not married, you can stay on your parents' plan until you're 30 or until you get married. That's a new rule that just went into place this year. So if you have dependents that are close to that, Trey had to come off of our plan last year, and when he got into the market, he began to realize how good of. And I was like, "Whoa, we really provide a good plan for our employees because he's paying more than we pay and not getting." And he has a bronze level plan, so those are some things we're finding out. We will open enrollments the 7th through the 16th of September. You'll get an email. You'll go in online to the Employee Navigator portal. It'll walk you through a series of questions. Even if you're keeping everything the same, you'll go through, make sure all the information is correct, verify that your beneficiaries and emergency contacts, all that stuff is correct. We'll ask you to do all that regardless of, I'm just keeping everything the same, or I don't use any of these benefits. Still, we want you to go through. If you're a full-time employee and not going to take our benefits, we have to have a record that we offered them to you and you declined. So you have to go through regardless and do that. So that'll be the 7th through the 16th. You'll begin to see communication from us around that. And then at the beginning of that, the 8th and 9th, we'll have reps on campus to answer questions for you about open enrollment. That's the information I got. I'll send you I'll send you a PowerPoint and you can share it with some of those details. But if you have questions for me around benefit packages or HR things. Yes, sir. You should be able to, if you log in. They're supposed to send me a flyer about it, which we're going to send out to all employees as soon as we get it. So we got a new customer service rep, and we met with them Monday, and she's much more proactive than our previous one. So, and some of it, she's new. And so we may find that they're all the same, but we get the new bright and shiny period. So we're going to capitalize on it. So I think on the website, you should be able to. If not, as soon as I get it from her, we'll send it out. Okay. Any other questions?
Often do we reshop our salaries and mass, their expense ratio on their high? That did the math one time. 20, 30-year employee invests with principal over the long haul, they might pay $100,000 more than some other brokerages that retirement to them. Never to see it. So I didn't know, do we have like every now and then we reevaluate, making sure we're.
I know we moved to them from Prudential in 2017. So I don't know if that means they were on a 5. I don't know that. I haven't seen a formal one in the 2 years that I've been responsible for it. But I will ask. So, for sure. Okay. Good question. Anybody else? All right. And that's all I got. If you need me, please feel free to reach out. dwarren@tbc.org. We really want to help any way we can. And Alexis is accessible and she's really good. I'm really good about forwarding emails to Alexis because she's really good about solving the problem and getting it to you. So I don't want to, I can be the constraint. My desk is where things go to die. So I get them off my desk as quickly as possible. So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.